Hi, good morning. I am Lisa with Lisa Boone Designs, and today I'm going to be creating a updated look for this really outdated little mantle shelf. Um, One of my friends actually, my ex-husband's wife, gave this to me to make over, so I'm really grateful. I've had it for a couple of weeks, and I just hadn't done anything with it. Kind of forgot about it, so I thought today's a great day to make this over because I'm trying to get rid of all of my smalls. I have a whole bunch of thrifted stuff that I've picked up in the last few trips, and I'm like, I've got to get all of these things done. So I want to show you how DIY paint will cover this very dark finish. As you can, I hope you can see it. Let me see. I'm trying to get this. There we go. It's really dark. It's actually got some green in there. It's black here, and then it's got like this cherry type finish here. DIY paint will cover it, and we're going to be using white linen. And then I'm going to distress back some of the dark spots. We're going to clear wax it, dark wax it, and probably add a little bit of golden rule. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I am going to be using the Klingon R16. I just find that the rounds and the ovals really help to get in there in all of those grooves because there's a lot of detail in here. And you know, I say this a lot. I hate that I couldn't go. My phone, the app that I'm using will not let me go landscape. So I'm just gonna have to move this around as best as I can. But there's a lot of detail in here, and you can't really see the details until you use some dark or black wax or a wash and just draw out the details. And so that's what we're gonna do. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I forgot to put the comments so that I can see them. And let me know that you're watching and where you're watching from. That is so helpful. So let's go ahead. If you have any questions about the paint or about what I'm doing, just go ahead and ask. Just wanted to make sure that I was actually live on my YouTube page, but I can't really, I can't see anything. Give me 1 second. Yeah, let me know where you're watching from. Let me see. This, I don't know why the tech stuff today, and actually last couple of weeks, have just been giving me so much trouble, and it's quite frustrating. I'm trying to just not let it bother me. Do you feel me? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, oh my word. It's so frustrating. All right, I'm just going ahead and posting it on my business page, Lisa Boone Designs, as well. I didn't get a chance to tag it on here, but please follow my page. I'll tag it on here when we're done. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and move this way. All right, let me move this. There we go. There we go. All right, so the first thing is first. I am going to go ahead and wet my brush. I really prefer to wet it in the sink, but I was messing with the technology and I didn't get to do that. So, hi from Central California. I can't see the name. It's in red for some reason. Scotts Hill, Tennessee. Where is Scotts Hill, Tennessee? Where is that? You might be close to me. Look at that. Can you see how great of a coverage that is? So this is just straight DIY paint. I'm not adding any water. You can really get great coverage. And that's what I wanted to show today. You know, it's kind of like basic 101 DIY paint. DIY paint is the original formula. So we have two formulas, right? We have the all-in-one, which is the JRV line. Let me show this to you if you're not familiar. This is the JRV line. It's cottage color, it's called. There's 8 colors. This is an all-in-one, one-step paint. And so you don't have to seal it. It is a much thinner paint. It's very different than the original formula. The original formula is a clay-based chalk style paint, and it will cover anything and everything. I've never had it fail. I just haven't. Um, but it will cover. I think I'm gonna do texture. I think I want a little bit of texture on here because it will do really well when I go to wax it. So I think I'm gonna do some smooth and then I'm gonna add some texture and some spots. I think that will be really, really cool. But you can get amazing coverage with DIY paint even when you're painting with just white because it's so highly pigmented. And if you notice, I mean, I don't know if you did or not. Well, I guess I opened it 40 minutes from Jackson, Tennessee. I'm trying to think. How far away are you from Nashville? From like Spring Hill, Nashville, Clarksville? I know where Jackson is. I feel like we just drove through there. When we went to Arkansas, maybe? We went to Tennessee on the way home, and wait, what did I say? No, we went to Memphis to the IKEA there on the way home, and I want to say we passed Jackson. I think that's what we passed. So anyway, you just get some amazing coverage. First, just with one coat, it's just incredible. So when I opened up my can, I did not stir it. I never shake it. The pigments don't separate. It is just amazing. I'm painting and decorating 2 of those chunky wooden knife blocks to use as bookends for my cookbooks. I can't see the name, but that sounds like a lot of fun. Are you just painting them just with the DIY paint, and are you going to add some transfers or stamps or anything? And tell me what colors that you're using for your knife blocks. I'm gonna have to get a small brush. First, this is a lot. Let me see. There's some deep crevices in there. Let me get in there. Don't want to mess up my brush, but I gotta get in there. I mean, can you see how chunky and deep this is? And, you know, it's okay if some of it shows, but I'm going to have to get like a small brush looking at this, like to get in to the crevices, because if there's so many curves in here, so I can't get in there. But typically these round and oval brushes do a good job of getting all the highs and the lows. It's just this is really mint green. Ooh, are you using like mint chip from DIY Paint? Thank you for sharing, Jude. I was able to see your name, but the other name is in red for some reason, and I just can't make it out. I apologize for that. See, look, it has a fleur-de-lis. I didn't even notice that. It has a fleur-de-lis right here. I love fleur-de-lis. So once I paint it all up and add the wax, it's going to pull out all of these details. Like I said, we'll leave a little bit of the original, like we'll distress it some, just to show it. That's why I painted it a light color, actually. Great piece. Thank you. Mint chip. Yes. Oh, yeah. That's a fun color. I like painting things that are dark a light color so that you can distress back to that dark color. And so I'll have to do, see, this is black on the bottom, which was really the top. I will have to paint that one after. So I'm going to add some texture in some of the spots, because I just think that will be kind of old worldly looking. And now that I'm looking at this, you know, I had some green left over. I really should have started with the light. It was a light green from the 8-ounce challenge. Did you guys watch some of my reels that I did? Actually, I can maybe pivot the camera. Um, See that hutch right there? That was the hutch that I painted for the 8-ounce challenge. And I still have paint left over. And then I did a mirror, and I actually put it in my bathroom, but I keep forgetting to do that reel because I have all of the video, and I had that hanging in my bathroom. It was a really large mirror that somebody came in and just gave to me. So I thought, I need a bigger mirror so I can kind of look at myself, make sure before I come out, like if there's a customer or something, if I'm sitting at my desk, I can just make sure I'm put together. But this will be painted fairly quickly. Actually, I would have done it a lot faster on my own. I'm thinking that I need, let me see if there's a little brush here or something. Usually I have brushes here on the counter, but no, I cleaned up. I need a small brush to get into those crevices. But I'm thinking that maybe I can add some more color. I kind of like doing that. Some beiges and stuff, but I didn't bring any of those colors with me. I just have the white, and then I have some, well, I have black over there. I don't know what I was doing. But last week's project, the bookshelf, is for the new product that's coming. I'm using it as a display piece, and it's right behind me. I didn't finish it. I did some raised stenciling yesterday, and I'm just trying to see what else I'm going to do. I'm not in a rush because I still have to wait for the product, so it's not like it has to be done right away. It's coming in October. I'm excited about it. So I think this is taking longer than what it should just because of the crevices. But really, with DIY paint, like, you can paint pretty quickly and you can get things done in a short amount of time because the paint dries fast. So I'm going to add some texture here, and that's easily accomplished just by pouncing. And that's due to the clay. This is a great way too, that if you have a whole bunch of paint left over, you can do this technique, whether you do it on the first coat or the top coat. And that's a great way to blend. I like to use cheap basting brushes for getting into, oh, that's a good idea, so I don't ruin my good brushes. That's a very good idea. I forgot about distressing, great idea. Yeah, I love to distress. And that mint chip that you're using will be really, really great, because if the wood is a darker wood, or even if it's like that orangey wood, the green and the orange will be a good contrast together. So if you just distress the sides of it, it will look really, really good. My iPad shut down. I'm trying to see. It's bothering me that I can't see your name. It's only showing. Oh, okay, that's coming from YouTube. Are you on YouTube? Is that what it is? That's why it's in red, maybe? Because I tried to go onto my YouTube channel to see the live, and it's not showing. Maybe that's what it is. It's dark wood. Oh, yeah, if it's dark wood, definitely distress it with that mint chip. Definitely. Because that will look amazing. All right, so I'm just trying to get in there. I may just have to run to my office. My office is right here. Let me just do that. This way I don't ruin my good brush, because that's a Klingon brush. I've got, actually I think I used wax with this one and I can feel it. I like to use wax with these, but I'm gonna go ahead and see what I can get done with this one. This is the Perfectionist. Is that the Perfectionist? The DIY paint. I can't remember all of the brush names. And a good thing to do is also put it upside down so that you can see where you missed. And like I said, if I distress this really heavily too, yeah, you're on YouTube. Okay. Well, if I can't, I'm on my YouTube on my iPad, but it is not letting me see the video. I just had the hardest time this morning getting started. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on with technology today. And I'm pretty tech savvy. It's not like, all right. I don't know. All right, I'm definitely gonna have to flip this over. So let me go ahead and get the heat gun and let me get this drying. Make sure my brushes are far away. See, it's already starting to dry. I'm not sure if you can tell from there. The brush with the pointed is my favorite. Yeah, I love those pointed brushes because you can go in there and get everything. But I really love to use them for dark wax and black wax because of that detail. That's my favorite way to use those. So it's already drying in a lot of places. So we're just going to hit this very quickly. And then we're going to go ahead for a second round. Just going to drop this water. I've got all my waxes right here, ready to go. So I can already tell it's going to be challenging to make sure that I can get the clear wax. So my goal is to bring out all of the details, and in order to do that, I have to clear wax it. I could also use liquid patina, which is a decoupage medium, but it is also not a heavy duty sealer, but it has a little bit of sealing power in there. And then I can clear wax and dark wax. But here's the thing. I don't like, here, let me see if I can show it to you this way. I don't like to dark wax or black wax without doing 2 coats of clear wax. So the first coat of clear wax, I just put it over everything, and typically I wait an hour at least, or the next day, or even 2 days later, or whatever my schedule allows. And then I go in there and I add the dark wax. You want the dark wax or the black wax or any colored wax to be on that second coat of fresh clear wax, because it allows you to cover it really well, seal it, make sure it's sealed very well, and then use a wipe or a shop towel or a lint-free cloth to draw back the excess so that it just sits on those crevices. So that's going to be a challenge with here, because I definitely want to make sure I get this waxed very well, because I don't want the dark wax to hit the paint. DIY paint is very porous, and that wax just kind of soaks it up. And so we want to make sure that we hit it first. It gives us more, flexibility when you clear wax it first. Now I have used black wax directly on, like Bohemian Blue. I've used white wax directly on lots of different paints. The white wax just acts a little bit differently. Now that you've turned this, you can see how deep the crevices are. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Now that it's dry, I can pivot, tilt it a little bit, and you can see, like, see how wide this is? See how wide? The crevices go pretty deep. But see, you're able to see it, I think, because I haven't done a full coverage, and you can see those dark places, can't you? Yeah, it's very, very Nice. I'm going to text Darla when I have this finished, and I think she's gonna regret giving it to me. Don't you think? She's gonna be like, "Hey, I want that back." Listen, my friend, I had another friend that gave me. Let me see. I don't want to get in the way. I had another friend that gave me a chest, and when she saw it, she she bought it back. She bought it. And I felt so bad, but she's like, I have to have it. I've always wanted one of your pieces. Now I have your piece. And it meant a lot to her because she gave it to me. She bought a business, a florist gift shop. And let me do it this way. I just feel like I'm in the way. A florist gift shop, and the piece was there. And it was just taking up space, and she just didn't want it. And so I need water. My second coat, I usually apply water. It just helps the paint to get in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add some detail there, some texture. And so she put it back. She reopened the store in another location, changed the name a little bit. And so now it's featured in the new store. And everybody was raving about it, and she just is in love with it. And I did it. I actually did it like that textured piece, and it's very neutral. And then it has a rice paper decoupage on there with flowers, because I got it from the florist shop from her, and I wanted to pay tribute. So I put these really beautiful rice paper. It's a posh chalk rice paper called Abundance, curated by Jonathan Mendez, and so it's beautiful. My cousin is giving some furniture pieces, and she's gonna want them back when I get done with them. Right? Right? People don't realize what they have, and they just see stuff and they're like, "Oh, I don't want this." But there's so much that you can do with furniture or home decor. Like, change it up. Whether it's something that you had, or something that you inherited, or something that you thrifted, just because it's somebody threw it away, you can give it new life, and you can make it really your own. Or if you're selling it, you can change it up to make it something that people would want, right? It's so much fun. Like, it cracks me up how people are just like, "Oh no, I don't want that. I don't want an antique." I'm like, "You don't want an antique? I'll take it, and I don't care. I'll paint an antique. It doesn't bother me." I know people get hung up on it, but here's the thing: with DIY paint, you can't go wrong, because you are sealing it and you're conditioning that wood. Because most of the time they're dry, they're brittle. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to this brush real quick. And you can give it new life. I don't feel bad about painting anything at all. It does not bother me. I was really glad I had a new client. She gave me an antique to paint, and I loved that she did that. And it belonged to her husband's mother. And now when I painted it, she loved it. And it's hers now. I can't get in there. All right, I have another little brush. Let me try to see. I really need to get this upside down, but this long-handled artist brush, I think, is going to do the job. Yep. I never liked long-handled brushes, but the Klingon brushes balance really well. But also, like, this is so lightweight, but it helps me to get into all the crevices. So I like to keep these around. And this is just, it says silver ruby satin. I don't know. I got a whole bunch of brushes one time. I went to a yard sale, and this lady in town was getting rid of all of her scrapbooking stuff. They were going into a camper, and they're retiring, they were just going to be traveling. So she had to downsize. She had to get rid of everything. And I got the biggest haul. I still have tons of the scrapbooking stuff. I don't really do scrapbooking anymore, but I use a lot of the cardstock for different things, and I'm selling a lot of them. They're on my website. But I kept like some of the brushes. I kept a lot of stuff that I could use, and I love these brushes. She had some really nice brushes. Brushes really do matter. Even I'm gonna pull out my chip brush. I have some really good chip brushes that are way better than anything that you could find in your home improvement store. They're thick, and it really does make a difference. Like, even though it's just a chip brush, like, it, you know, it matters. Just different brushes, it just matters. Okay, I need to get in here. I forgot about in here too. Did I get it? Okay. Oh, I just found more in there. And I'm just putting it in there thick, because this way I don't have to do a second coat maybe in there. All right, we'll see how that goes. Put this down. I'm currently working on the dresser that my great grandfather made. It fell apart when we moved, no glue left on it. Wow, that is gonna be an awesome piece. I just love that. I wish I had some furniture from my grandmother, but I don't. I love that. I love that you're doing that. That is just incredible. So much fun. And see, other people would throw that away. Like, I think I was at the other store, and someone was like looking at everything. It was the first time that they'd ever been there, and we have lots of antiques and vintage stuff over there. And he was like, "Oh, the stuff that our grandparents probably just threw away." You know, just I'm like, yeah, people don't find value in furniture, and then they just get rid of it, throw it away. And I have a lot of people that come into the store and say, I didn't know who to give it to. There was no one I could give it to, so I had to sell everything. And I'm always like, I would have taken it. I'll take it. You know? Um, yeah, the young people don't want old stuff anymore. And I'm like, well, that might be true, but I know a lot of young people that come into the store, like even like early um, 20s and even younger, that come in there to shop looking for older pieces, especially the mid-century modern pieces. Like, they love that stuff. They eat that up all day long. That stuff sells really well right now. So much so that when I went to IKEA, I saw a lot of replicas of some mid-century modern pieces. I thought, well, they know. They know. Of course, that stuff, while it's really nice, it's particle board, most of it. They do have some wood, but it's particle board. I went there looking, I wanted organizational stuff, and I hadn't been. I actually used to go to IKEA in New York, and I hadn't been since I left. I made a post, and I said 28 years, but it was actually 29 years ago that I left New York, and didn't get the chance to go to another IKEA because I haven't lived near one. Uh-oh, the fire department. My hand carved, wait. He hand carved the drawers and the area, wait, yeah, around the beveled mirror. I would never get rid of it. Oh my gosh. Just to know that and see, if he hand carved it, if you use some of this clear wax, that would pull out all of the details. You want to highlight that. That's beautiful. What a memory. What a gift. So I put it thick on some areas. I can see the chunky. I can see the brush. I want this to look old. I added some texture in some spots. And so when we clear wax, we're going to be able to bring that out. The other thing, like I said, that I could have done is do a wash over it also. Now I'm really kind of regretting not doing that, because I'm thinking that I kind of want a wash. I wonder if I have, well, you know what I do have? I have, do I have crockery right here? I might be able to muster up something. It's heavy too. It's solid and it's heavy. Yeah. Darla's gonna want this back. Yeah, great idea. Yeah, I would listen. Send me a picture because I would love to see it when it's done. I love to see people's work when they, especially, are using DIY paint or any of the products that I sell. I like to share that out because I want people to be inspired by what other people are doing. You know, people that follow me. Hold on. Let me see what I have right here. What was the? Where did I put it? The can. I put it here. What is this? Yes, this is crockery. Okay, I might make a wash out of this. So, I have water. Let's see. What's my time? 11:33. Do you guys like doing washes? Oh, just to show you, I thought this was tarnished pearl. I do this to myself all the time. This is what's left over from the 8-ounce challenge. This, so I have to stir it because there's a lot of thickness down there, but I have a lot of paint and I have to figure out, I think I'm going to just do like background coats with it and see what happens. All right, let's do a wash. Let me get a container. I have one right here. It's probably, uh-oh. I have a container right here. This is what I used when I did the 8-ounce challenge. But if I put this paint in there, it's going to reconstitute it and it's going to be green. So, and then look at the chunkiness. This is the goodness of DIY paint. This is just dried up paint that, because I had the spoon like that, then I moved it. This is amazing. You just started doing paint washes on raw wood. I don't know if you can see it from here. Wait, I need to go that way. Do you see that piece right there? That's a cedar chest. Can't remember if I actually did the video, if I have that on YouTube or not. I'm so behind. But that chest right there, okay, that one, I painted it actually in crockery, and then I used the white paint on the doors only, and I did a whitewash. And thank you. That was amazing to do the whitewash with this because the paint didn't come up when you went to seal it because it has a sealer in it. So from now on, when I do paint washes, like on raw wood, I'm going to be using the JRV. It was amazing. All right, let me see. I have to get something that I can put this paint in. Just to Okay. This is one of my jars that I put paint in, but I think this is going to be a little bit better. Now, with the JRV though, you do have to stir it. Let me see if I have a stir stick. All right. You have to stir it. Okay. Now I had one in there. You see that? The top coat and the pigments sit on the top. This is all mushy. So you got to stir it up. And that's what you don't have to do with the regular formula of DIY paint, because everything is so well combined. You don't have to shake it. You don't have to stir it. Don't shake this because of the top coat in it. You want to stir it and just stir it really well until all of the pigments are combined and you see a consistent color, just make sure scrape that bottom. See, this is that crockery. Can you see it? I don't want to get it on the floor. Regular DIY paint, it's okay if I get some on the floor. I think that's more than enough. Because it is not going to do any harm at all. I'm going to get some baby wipes in there. I'm going to put this down. Gotta get a baby wipe from my finger there. Okay, so I'm going to add my water. Now with DIY paint regular formula, I can water it down 10-1 and still retain the pigment. I'm actually not sure how much I can water this down because this is not a clay-based paint. The clay requires a lot of pigment in order to have the paint that we have. I'm going to just add a little bit drop. Okay, so I'm going to move this. So now once I do this, I'm going to move all of this so that because now I'm going to make a mess. I'm going to make a mess, and that's when you know I'm having fun. All right, I'm going to do it this way so you can kind of see. And where's my blue shop towels? Right here. I'm glad I grabbed those because sometimes I forget to grab those and they're not handy. I definitely do not want to this is actually something that I'm selling in the store, but I kind of hide it and I use it all the time so people don't realize that I'm selling it because, like, it's so helpful. All right. So we're going to add layers. And we're going to do a little wash here. That's going to be good. All right. Normally I would wet this. It's not wet enough. And I'm going to spread this out. And because DIY paint is amazing, and when you add water to it, guess what I'm doing at the very, very same time? Distressing. All right, I'm gonna bring this down without trying to. You got to see this. Let me see if I can get this tripod. Okay, wait. Do you see what happened there? The distressing that's happening as I'm wiping it. Okay, I have it too high is the problem. Okay, there we go. Can you see that? Okay. So, because it was way too white. I really don't like white. I can appreciate it, and people want white furniture and all that stuff. I just don't have fun with it. But I know that's what it sells. But if we can just change things up a little bit and make it neutral, then I think that's what they're after. Maybe. Tell myself that. I need more water in here. So I'm just wiping, I'm distressing at the same time. And later, I will go back and add some more distressing with a baby wipe. Do it this way. Yes. Okay. Let me add some water. Thank you. of water. And what I will do with a baby wipe, so when I'm distressing, you get this milky, see? And so what you want to do is take a fresh baby wipe and clean that up so that it looks like it really has been distressed. Do you see that? Can you see the difference? And see how easy it is to distress DIY paint? So incredibly easy because it doesn't have a sealer in it. So all I'm doing is just a light touch. And then I clean it up. And now, all of a sudden, it's starting to pop and wake up. And you can see the scroll work. You can see the details. We're going to show how you can see the depth. And once I add the waxes as well, see how pretty that looks? I hope that's coming across. I'm not sure if you can actually see it or not. There we go. It's going to drop. Because you don't really need to see me. Okay, let me just let that drop. And there we go. The light. Can you? I'm hoping that maybe that's a better angle. Let me know. I just have to move this. And see, I like that puddling there. I'm gonna leave that. And then what I will do is I will take off in some areas. I'm going to use the baby white instead of the blue shop cloth because I really needed that wet. And so you can distress the cottage color early on. But if you wait, then you can't distress it. All right, so let's go ahead and do another section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet it first. I'm going to do this section right here. And see, this is really wet. You only want to do a small area at a time. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to use the shop cloth to pick up a majority of it. And then I'll go back with the baby wipe. So then it looks like it's been painted over time. If you could zoom in a little bit. Yep, I can. Okay, let me get this back up. Okay, now tilt. Okay. Okay. So where's the camera? There. So we're here. I hate that it was acting so weird. I'd like to do it landscape. And see how great it looks when you have the dark already there. Now, if it's something that's light, you could paint it dark and then come back with the light, seal it with DIY paint, Big Top, and then let me move this. Hold on, I'm gonna get in front of this because I feel like there needs to be more light. Like maybe that's a little bit better. Because from here, I don't know what the camera's picking up. I think that's better. It looks better in real life, so I'm hoping. Okay, so now I just have to watch the Okay, so now we're gonna do, wait, it's backwards. That always messes with me. Okay, so I'm gonna wet this. I just like to wet it first, just to get it ready. And then I'm gonna use this. This brush is perfect for this, to get in those crevices. The wetting it down too, the paint doesn't get absorbed, and so it gives me more flexibility. Because you know DIY paint is very, very porous. That's why you clear wax it first. So that's why I'm wetting it. I don't think I explained that. That's why I'm wetting it. I'm gonna have to get in here. There we go. And then I will go back. All right, let's go ahead and get this rest of this done. Yeah, I like this a lot better than what I was doing at first. And I definitely want it to be darker on the inside. I don't want it to be white on the inside. So we're going to have to go back. I don't want my head to get in the way. And this is definitely a messy job. It definitely is. There we go. And this would be better too if it was on its back, because then I could see a little bit more, but that's okay. I mean, this is where it's at. This is so pretty. So much better. And because this is sealing it too once it dries. Okay, let's do up here. I'm going to tilt the camera. No, this way. Up. Okay. Get this up higher. Gotta tighten that. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna do right there. What is the color you're using for the wash? I'm using DIY Paint's Cottage Color in Crockery. That's the same color that I painted that cedar chest. The cedar chest, you can see detailed pictures on my website if you wanted to look at it. It's lisaboondesigns.com. All the links are in my bios, my about, all of that. So if you want to see what the actual color is, it literally is a crockery color. And see, I'm just going to rub. I forgot to rub here as I'm going. And see how the details are just popping. I always like to use a baby wipe. See that? Just clean it up. I think that's the key when you're distressing. Clean it up. Take a nice, clean spot on the baby wipe. Get a new one if you need to get a new one. And there's going to be so much more interest and dimension when I add the waxes. And see how like that dark color now looks so good. So do you water the paint down? I popped off. Oh, hi, Catherine. Yeah. What an amazing piece. Thank you, Sheila. Yes. I painted the first thing with vintage linen, 2 coats. Then, don't mind my dirty cup, okay? This is like my brush water cup. So I put a little bit of crockery in here. I put way too much, so I'm going to have to find another thing to do with this, which I had a feeling. But I'd rather have a little bit too much than not when I'm working on, especially on a live. But I put some water in there, and so what I'm doing is I'm going to just scoot this down, do it one step at a time. I wet my paint first because DIY paint is very porous. I wet it. That's too much water. That does a lot of water, that mister. So then I'm going to go ahead, and now the paint is just going to sit there and drip, which is fine. This has a sealer in it, so I want to be fast, and I don't want to do it too much. I want to do it in just certain spots. I don't think I did that spot in there. You can't, okay, you can't see that. I'm just getting in the crevices. I'm sorry if my head's in the way. All right, I'm gonna get a new shop towel. Where did I put it? I put it under here. That water that I sprayed is buying me some time. All right, these should be wet. I usually put them in the sink in the water and get a lot of water on it, and then I rinse it out. It just is better if it's wet. Okay? Then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave some puddles in some spots. And I'm just going to absorb some of the paint. And who in the 90s, I think it was the 90s, did like the ragging technique on the walls? I did that. That's kind of the effect because you see the texture. So everywhere where I painted with texture, now we're gonna see the details of that, and it's gonna look so good. So I'm just gonna clean up the. You could leave the drip marks. Sometimes I leave the drip marks. It depends on the piece. And I'm just going to clean up a little bit here because some extra water got there. I like the puddling there because even though it's going to be upside down, that's going to be a little bit darker. And I like that. Okay. So I'm going to have 5 minutes left. All right. So see, I'm just getting rid of some of this. Okay, wait. What can we see? We got it in here kind of tight. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so can you, okay, you can't see that part. So I'm just gonna paint all of it. And I didn't even do a good job of painting everything over there. I'm gonna put this over here so I don't spill it. So I'm gonna go ahead. And if I didn't get it somewhere, because I have paint on my rag, it will spread it for me. So it's not like you have to get every nook and cranny. And if it was something that had been old and chipped, like it's going to not be covered all the way anyway. So see, I'm distressing it because the wet is paint. The wet is paint, y'all. The paint is wet. Um, my sister and I did the ragging technique on one of the walls in the bathroom, and my part was different. Yeah, for sure. There's no way that you can do the ragging technique the same. And that's really what makes it really cool too, because you can create so many different looks. But I loved ragging, and I had that double roller. Do you remember that one that came out like at some point that was supposed to make it a little bit easier? And you had you put two different colors. Like I did two different colors of yellow for my kitchen, and oh my gosh, I loved it. And I had ragged lots of different walls. I loved it. So that whenever I do this kind of stuff, that's what it reminds me of. But can you see this? Like, this is my favorite right here. Okay, see how there's still a little bit of paint, and that's okay, but I really like to make sure that it's nice and clean in most of it. It just makes it look good, but this looks like if it was worn. It literally looks like it was worn. And so I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. And now this is black. This was cherry. You know, I didn't even take a picture. I'm going to have to go back through my video. I can't tell you how many times I have to do that because I forget to take a before. But I definitely need to do that because this is looking fabulous. Fabulous. Don't you think? Now, see how there's these rows in here, this rose detail. Like you couldn't see that before. So now your eye is drawn into it. That's why painting with one color, especially on something that's very detailed, is probably not a good idea unless you are trying to cover up a lot of bad things. And if that's the case, yeah, just don't distress. So what's good about DIY paint is we have the two formulas. We have the clay-based formula. It's easy to distress. So sometimes when you're sealing pieces, if you're heavy-handed with the brush, if you're sealing it or with a wax or with a poly, it will pull up some of the paint. You saw, like I was, dragging this over. It was pulling up some of the paint. It's going to happen, but if you use the 1 hour, I'm not the 1 hour, I need a little bit more white right here. I mean, it's too white right there. If you're using this, the JRV, I can't remember the name of it for a second. If you're using the JRV, I need some there. Then, you don't have to worry about it. Now, if it's something that's going to be used a lot, especially if it's a top of a table, I would probably still, personally, put a top coat on there. You're terrible about taking before pictures. Yeah, the good thing is because most of the time I'm videoing it, I can usually snap a picture really quickly from the start of the video. So that's what I'm gonna have to do. But my time is up. Oh, that's really close. There we go. My time is up. So thank you guys for watching. I will post a picture of this finished piece when I'm done. I'm going to let this sit and I'm going to let it dry in an hour. I'm probably going to go ahead and I'm going to clear wax it. I'm going to dark wax it. Usually I use black wax because that's my preferred wax. But then I think I'm going to take the highlights here, the scroll work, and add some gold to it. I love adding this gold wax. This is my favorite. It's just so good, and it's gonna make it all look amazing. So I can't wait to finish it and show it to you guys. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow and like all the things. All of my links are on my link tree, which are on all of my pages. Follow along. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I thank you so much for watching.